Yeah, and this is the Mawson Antarctic expedition where you spent a whole winter, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us
Yeah,
a bit about this photo and how it really was for you.
when I overwintered with the emperors, my job was to study their feeding ecology, which is like studies of the relationship between the birds and the marine environment that sustains them.
Okay.
Emperors breed on what's called fast ice. It's frozen seawater,
Yep.
which you might call sea ice, but fast ice is actually fast onto something. In other words, stuck against something
Okay.
like rocks or grounded icebergs. Emperor penguins seek out fast ice to breed on because it's stable and won't break out before their chicks fledge and drown them all. Basically, the work I decided to do was all the basic pillars of what you'd call feeding ecology, which was to study the birds' diet composition,
Mm.
what prey species they were taking from the ocean, among the various species that make up fish, squid, and types of krill,
Yep.
and their rates of food consumption, like to determine how much food emperors took from the ocean to get through the whole breeding cycle,
Mm.
and how much food it required to raise a chick from go to woe.
Yep.
That's about a 5-month growing period before the chicks fledge. It enabled me to put together a type of food budget. The colony I worked on had 12,000 breeding pairs.
Mm.
So you could work out their total annual food requirements for breeding adults plus their offspring. And I also studied their diving depths and the foraging space by putting instruments on the birds when they left the colony and retrieving the devices and interrogating when they came back to the colony.
Yep.
So you could construct a three-dimensional feeding space in the ocean, how far they went from the edge of the ice, north and east and west, and how deep they dived, what areas of the water column they exploited. And as well as that, I did a couple of demographic things like population estimations,
Yep.
because the emperors are notoriously difficult to count because they're not territorial. They sort of wander around and they don't have
Mm.
a fixed nest site that you might be able to more easily count. When the males were huddling in the winter, when they're incubating eggs, when females are at sea, they huddle together like very densely packed, like a rugby scrum.
Yeah.
And you could photograph these from the position and just count the birds in the computer and get very accurate estimates. So that count's been going on for the last 30 years. And so we got a 30-year time series for that particular colony.